Welcome to Build It Faster. We are Mike and Joe, and we are here. We're here to build it faster. Well, actually, build what faster, Mike? Maybe we should start saying what we're building faster every time. Today, we're gonna build meat for coffee faster. Is what we're calling
Yeah,
it, right? Do we still like that name?
building a few things. I mean, it's good for now. It's funny that you bring name up because I was noticing the other day that we have like a kind of a bunch of different names in there right now. There's sort of like, or at least different things are treated as names that maybe aren't the name. Like for example, coffee home. I think just the like initial result of whatever it was that you had kind of like thrown in as like a empty wrapper, it was like calling itself like coffee home and stuff, and I had to like change that to meet for coffee and stuff. But there's other places like there's folders and there's other things that kind of imply that the name of the app is something else. So just I'm mindful that I'd call it some kind of light tech debt. I don't know, but I was
Yeah,
tripping
yeah.
up on it a little bit, and I was trying to clean up at least what I was encountering along the way.
Homepage looks good though, by the way, and I love that the whole app is just a little screenshot. You know, the whole
You
app
know,
is like a little baby screenshot, which is actually pretty dope.
you know what's embarrassing is I kind of tried to make Claude make that screenshot, and it tried for a while to like get the right screenshot, and I just was so unhappy with it, and I went and I opened it up in my own browser and I just took a screenshot, and it's fine.
Like a
I was like, oh,
caveman.
make it perfect, make it the perfect dimensions. I thought like, oh, it'll just nail it, it'll be super simple, but it just wasn't getting the right. And then it finally got it right. Like, if this is hilarious, it finally got it right, but it was hovering over the stop button when it got it. So the timer was in there. I was like, what are you doing? You amateur. This is unacceptable that you would do this, So because it had the next and the stop button were both black, it just threw off the feng shui of the screenshot
Terrible.
completely. And I wanted the timer in there, obviously. And so I went and I did it like you said, like a caveman. I took a screenshot and it's fine. It looks great for now. That's all we needed. So one little, I liked because it teased me, right? You sent me the little kind of like, I get like a little Kanban gizmo tool that it just hallucinated and threw in there, right? And I was like, I don't know why this isn't us. I don't know what you just did here.
Can I share it while we're talking about it?
Sure. But I fell in love with the idea of having some kind of visual right there of what it is. I was like, oh God, we should just show
Oof.
the app in there. Because I feel like part of the allure is that it's so simple and straightforward. I mean, there's not a lot that we're trying to do here. We just are trying to do it well and efficiently. And yeah, it's basically all right there in a screenshot. You can see the timer, gadgetry. You can see like the next and drop buttons, which are really kind of like what drive the general flow. You can see that you can add a card. You can see that there are votes. You can
Is in
see
there. Oh man.
yeah. You know what? I actually didn't
Oof.
at first. There was even white space at the bottom, and I was so humiliated for myself in the moment that I was like, I have to spend the next 5 minutes to go back and fix.
This looks so good.
I like remade it from scratch. Yeah, it looks really good. I think that we could take more screenshots to sort of illustrate functionality and stuff to flesh it out later. But for like a one pager, I mean, of course, there's always potential for making it better, but for a one pager, it's like, boom, built it pretty fast, I'd say,
I don't know if you could have built it faster. I think that it would be interesting when you scroll. Don't do this. When you scroll, to have it like update with the screenshot of the call happening over time while the what is this scrolls on the left. So you start with blank and then you scroll up and it adds a card, and then you scroll up and it like progresses through what it looks like to use the tool.
Well, okay. So
Right?
yeah,
Just a fun
or
idea. Don't do
like
it.
a GIF or something. I don't know. But I'm just no. I got you. But like, does you mean like when you're like kind of scrolling on the page? But would it stay with you as
Yes.
you're scrolling? Oh,
Yes.
okay. I get it. I
It's
see your
always
vision
with
now.
you.
I
That's the
see it.
point of the app.
That's wild. Yeah. Okay. I mean, anyway, I like it. I think it was a good quick thing to
This
do.
looks great.
I don't know what else we have in our way. Do you? What's in our way?
We need to change this email, and we need to make Claude confirm that we can't get sued with these words, and then with these words that we can't get sued or whatever, and then this
adversarial check on
goes somewhere. I don't know. It'll be good enough. And we'll be like, let's err on the side of no, indemnity whatsoever. It's like, by using this tool, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Is that expected response time 1 to 2 business days? I might take a quick look at this and, you know, and make no commitments whatsoever.
You should say soon. Expected response time soon.
You know,
When
I was
we're
thinking
ready, you know?
yeah, I was thinking the support page should be something like you know, contact us here, and that's it. You know, you just
Yes.
this is how you get a hold of us. And
Yes.
then the next thing we can add is like a submit feedback kind of
Box. Yeah.
utility. Sure. But anyway, yeah, so I'll probably strip that down to bare bones, and then the terms and policy will give it a good adversarial check. And support email, you got a preferred one? If not, I
Well,
mean,
right now it's info@builditfaster. I'm just saying that email is invalid. Support@ is probably a good email though. Actually, let's disambiguate so we know where the hell people are messaging us from.
right there you go. Support's
keep
good.
support.
All right,
Now it's
cool,
on
done.
me. Let me go add
Done.
the damn email. I bet
love
they
it.
support Terraform. I'm gonna have it do it with Terraform. That's gonna be great.
What's Terraform do?
Oh, Terraform is, for example, you can be like, let there be one server with 8 gigs and 2 CPUs on this provider. Apply, and then it resolves that desired state onto AWS, for example. And a bunch of stuff supports it, like the whole coffee meet mic URL.
Mm-hmm.
I terraformed Cloudflare. I was like, make a record that tunnels to this tunnel, and then I got the tunnel key and I put it into the Docker Compose. So like it's all just managing infrastructure as code.
That's
Which is
wild.
great
Yeah,
because you could be like, Codex, make this a thing, and it just does it because it's already done. It's already as code. If you can manage something as code with Terraform or with a CLI, you can make Codex just do it. I'm actually, I think, just about to run out of stuff Codex can do, and I'm going to have to go into the marketplace and be like, yes, yes, yes. And I probably could have it open a browser and just do it for me, but I shouldn't do that. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. No, I've
That's
been
probably
running
too
into some of
much.
those situations myself where I'm like, do I get dirty with the browser? Do I go online and start looking for MCPs? But interesting. Okay. All right. So we're not very far. Like I
No,
said,
I
for
was
book club,
just now.
we have 2 different milestones here. I should write these milestones down because I feel like the book club milestone is we don't even have to have the invite button working, but we will from that moment be exposed publicly. Not that that means anything or that anyone's gonna download it, but like, what if, you know? I guess it would be the best problem in the world. I think you and I could put our heads together and get an invite button working in a day if we're like, wow, we have 10,000 users overnight. So I guess maybe the risk is actually nil. But I will be interested in having a working, I feel like, because the next milestone being marketability, we have to have, just a reminder, we have to have an invite that works. Like, not just that works, but that is like workable, that is tractable. I don't know what word you want to use, but like one that people will use because
Effective,
sure.
Adopted,
Yeah.
utilized.
Nice. Good words. Okay.
Um,
So
and
that's, I think, but those are like the major things. They're so little. They're so little. It's such a
we
light,
just gotta
tight.
just launch the damn thing,
Yeah,
right?
just fucking
We just
ride.
gotta knock them out and just launch the damn thing, you know? Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't even care actually if it was like everyone was like, "Oh my god, we've been waiting forever for this. This doesn't work the way I wanted to, and you've lost our confidence forever." That'd be fine. Okay, okay, we'll try again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll rebrand and then relaunch now that we know it's very interesting. Okay, like it'll be
Right.
fine, and like
Brilliant.
you know, like
Plus, the
I would love
rebrand
to
will
fail. That
come
would be
anyway.
lovely. Yeah.
We'll come up with like a name when the name will come. You know, for now, it's just more of a functional name, and for searchability, it makes sense. And later on, you can rebrand it. You know, if you want.
Yes. Yes.
I also
Absolutely.
think
And
it's
I
funny.
sent you
It's
a.
cute. It's cute because it's actually coffee for meat, but we call it meat for coffee. You ever think about how that was cute?
I thought it was cute because I used the word meat and the coffee, and that I did meat for Google
Mm-hmm.
Meet for coffee.
Right.
I didn't think about how it's coffee for meat. That's even cuter. But I thought
That's what
meat
I'm saying.
for let's meet for coffee, I thought was indeed kill. Like I did that on purpose.
Exactly. No, absolutely. That's what I'm saying is like, it's double entendre the right thing. It's like we're meeting for coffee and it's called meet for coffee, which also helps us. We're not using Google's brand. You're meeting for coffee. It's not, but it implies that it is a coffee app for Google Meet, which is a cute nod. It's a cute nod.
It's so cute. It's so cute. You want to meet for, you want to meet for coffee?
Yeah, that completely dodges any kind of copyright concerns or whatever. So, fun and
you might get like
as well,
like harassment depending on how you ask it at work. But I love it. I love it.
Yeah, dude, really cool. Okay, so
yeah, very happy with that. We're about to launch a product. All right,
we're
about to launch a product, and we're not going to make any money on it. And it's going to be awesome.
How do you do like a product hunt launch? How big do you have to be for?
I don't know. I didn't even think about that. I don't know. I sent you a podcast on how to grow a product.
Yeah,
that I'm working through.
Does it start from zero?
I have only summarized the transcript so far. It's just in my queue. I'm going to start listening to it hopefully tonight. But I think there are some methodologies we could do. Also, my dad is like a brilliant salesperson. He's like an extremely high performer at his organization, and we should probably also talk to him. I don't know about on pod.
Yeah. No,
but
he's
we
family.
should talk to him.
He's family,
But then you got to invite your family. I don't want to talk to your family.
No. It's there's no pod. Right? We don't want to start making family members jealous on the pod for sure.
No, not on the pod. We got to get Alex back though. He's we got to get back on the pod here.
Okay, so we talked about where we're at, what we got to do next. Yep. Are we wanting to make any commitments there, or are we wanting to dive into some else stuff?
I think we should talk about something else because there's a couple of cool things that I think we need to discuss. And I also haven't published an episode in like a month, and I really need to just follow through on that.
Well, that's fun.
But
can't you make a skill for that?
Well, that's what I need to work on. I don't have a skill for that making skill though. Like that's my problem. Because well, actually, to make a skill for that, that's one of the things I want to talk about because you're starting to accumulate fascinating utility that I think we should make people aware of because you have an interesting non-technical, but like non-coding rather, use case that I want to get into. To wrap up the coffee thing, I have deployed the production instance. I have cut a tag and I have deployed the production instance. It is up right now. We have a half-ass website. Check. Not a half-ass. You did a great job. It looks great. It's not a, like we should go through and
dude, the whole thing was vibe coded. Don't be an apologist for that.
I'm just saying it looks good. I like how it looks.
I know. No, I hear you. But yeah,
you just talked to me about how you intricately, carefully, and redid the screenshot. Like you put work into this, okay? This is the most work I've ever heard you put into the pod.
I might have half-assed at best.
So in any case, some at least majority portion of the ass was applied, okay? And I think it's looking really good. And I'm ready to just launch this, even if we do a bad job and shouldn't have posted that. Like, let's just go. Okay, we'll fix it later.
Dude, it would rock to have like a failed product launch. In what way did Littlefoot launch? How far did Littlefoot go? I feel like that was the next kind of most complete product.
Let me go see how many stars it has. GitHub. What is that? Oh my God, I have so many repos. Why am I so busy?
You should revive Littlefoot, dude. It's still kind of stupid trying to make a website. Let's bring it back.
Migrated to eFlip, man, and then that got moved to Littlefoot CMS. 4 stars.
All right.
There's 4 stars on here, and they're probably all from friends or just you. So it basically didn't.
Yeah, my 4
went
accounts.
It went nowhere, and it wasn't even unpopular. It was just not received in any way or communicated to the network in any capacity.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever really marketed, right? I mean, we might have posted on Twitter accounts that had no followers.
Yep. Just one of the things released into the void. That's just how it goes.
Okay. Well, cool.
So I'm not too worried about
something to learn from.
Yeah, well, that is something to learn from. Where we need to
harder from because sorry for the big detour, but what I was going to say was like it'll be fun to launch something and learn from it. We've never launched something before, but then I was like, well, I don't know. Did Littlefoot count as launching? And I think Littlefoot counts as our first failure to launch, which is great. We got that out of the way.
Yes. And then Agrobox just kind of fizzled, which I'm probably going to get back into hydroponics now that my kid's 3. All right, looking at that in the garage,
fun.
We'll see.
That's fun. The hard one with that was like it was hard to do it over distance. That's a hard industry to get into together over distance. We thrive in the digital world, but then anyway.
Dude, and being able to just vibe some garbage out, like that's how you launch a product.
Well, I'll tell you if you'll indulge me for another 10 seconds on it, if you want to get into hydroponics again from at a distance, all right, and you want to build stuff fast, I saw you and the boys chit-chatting a little bit about 3D printing, and we could become a 3D design company that designs cool hydroponic parts that you can 3D print, or whatever, or we can manufacture our own thing that we 3D print and sell. But that is the thing that we could do. It's
Sell
enough
shovels.
in the digital.
You want to be
it's
a,
enough
you
in
want to
the
be a
digital
shovel
space.
salesman. Okay.
Okay. Something like that.
You're pointing out that because it's digital, it becomes digitally collaboratable.
It becomes part of our domain, right? It's part of our cross-country bros domain. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, you got a story? Tell me a story. I thought you were.
Do I get to go first?
Tell me a story. I think so. I think that'd be fun.
So, just one. I'm told often at work.
And if it all of a sudden turns into something crazy,
interrupt me
you go the distance. Yeah, yeah. Because I don't want to interrupt you later. I want you to interrupt yourself later. Do your thing. All right. Don't worry about saving time for me. We can always get to me later.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So at where I work, I often get the opportunity to present on this or that topic. They'll be like, "Oh, who's got a topic for the monthly, presenting a topic presentation slot?" And I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I can talk about, for example, agentic engineering." I was like, "I can talk about agentic engineering." And then I, gathered all of the details, and I talked about, the dumb zone, and then what subagents are, and how I auto approve things, and how I, for example, here's one example. I say, by default, when you ask for the agent to do a thing, it will do a thing, and then you have to, 1, go through each file and click save, which is crazy, and then 2, you gotta hit keep, so that you're not like, oh no, I don't regret the agent doing that. You gotta click the keep button. First thing you do, you set auto keep to 1 second, okay, and you turn autosave on. Step number 1. Then it turns into please make a change. You sit back and let it do whatever the hell it wants to do. I mean, not any command it wants to run, but any file edits, right? And then you either stage and commit from Git, or you just discard the damn thing and tell it did a bad job. Or you stage it, but maybe not this one, and revert that one. You're accepting or rejecting at the Git level, And so those kinds of insights where it's like, oh, here's how I work, here's how I auto accept read-only commands. And so, after every single time I've ever presented, I have 6 new people message me, and they're like, that was the most inspiring, useful, clear, interesting thing I've ever heard. And it's like, and I'm not even actually kidding that much. It's a little hyperbolic just to be funny, but people are like, you should create content. I'm like, I do create content, but no one watches it. But I think it's because it's not packaged in the way that they are excited for. They wouldn't watch this pod the way it's formatted. Right. It's just you and me trying to figure stuff out a lot of the time with no cut, which goes back to our clip the gold point, which maybe I should just start just taking the 4 minutes of gold, and those are the damn episodes.
That's fun.
It's not even episodes.
Also, maybe episodes is a box that the mind is stuck in too. You don't need.
Maybe we have
clips is a better word. Maybe
build it faster. Gold clips. Should be the channel. It's just full of gold. Not everything on our channel right now is gold. All right, maybe we should have a gold only channel for gold members.
Why not a gold list or album or whatever they have
playlist
in YouTube? Yeah, playlist. Right. Do you even need a separate channel for all that?
I don't know. I don't know what's more efficient, because the function for doing or not doing a separate channel is are you getting more clicks or whatever? Are you diluting the content where your channel is or is not favored by content hour? I don't know what the rules are.
They got to subscribe to 2 things.
But it's a good question.
Yeah.
So maybe a gold channel would be fun. Maybe what I should do is rename Pattern Practice, where we had 50 subscribers that were, I guess, interested in hearing from us, and rename that to Build It Faster, and shut the one we have down now and go back and clip out the gold.
That's a good idea. I like that.
I don't know.
I think we should start with a playlist, and if we feel like there's traction and it's useful to break it up, you can always break it later. I feel like it's harder to merge than it is to split. I don't know. Anyway.
But so to that end, I was pitching to you, hey, what if I told you something interesting and that gave me for free a presentation that was gold clippable, right?
That's really cool.
And so I'm going to do that right now. Here it comes. Are you ready?
Oh my God. Okay. I have a question real quick.
You can say no.
Yes, I'm ready.
I was checking. I was getting your consent. What was your question before I get into it?
It was just that you were talking about giving presentations. Is this in general your you've got like a workflow for general presentations, or is this specific to like AI adoption presentations, if that makes sense?
I think I have a general way in which I approach presentation, but I'm referring specifically to the AI content and the topic itself that I was going to cover, if I was going to cover, was about an AI use case I found interesting that I would have, for example, presented at my organization, though I'll say more generally rather than being like, that specific repository we don't tell people about. Like, because I'm like very, work oriented, like this is the name of the guy you should talk to. Here's a link to the internal repo. Here's the commands you run, like here's how you find me in the internal AI guild. Like,
Man. Okay. All right, then now I'm ready. I'm ready then.
let me give you a little lightning talk, a
Yeah.
little lightning talk.
Yep.
So
Yep.
something I thought was interesting that I have been doing at work is skills, right? Skills. Now, skills are, I think the right way to think about skills is a modularization of the kinds of instruction you could give. Actually, when I did my skills presentation, it was, you ask it a thing and it does it, and then you have to correct it. And if you tell it again, you always have to keep correcting it. We'll stuff that in the agent's MD. Your agent's MD is going to get too big, and you don't need every damn thing you ever might tell it in there. Like if you're working on the back end, it doesn't even need to know what a browser is, right? So put that in the if I'm using the browser bucket, that's a skill. That's what skills are. And I mean, they can be, used for more than that. You can give them scripts, you can put this, that, right? But just instruction modularization is really what clicked for me when I was trying to learn skills. You can only tell a language model like Coding Agent about 85 instructions. It's called an instruction budget. This is just popular guidance. After about 85 things, it stops being reliable. It doesn't follow every little rule you ask. But if you keep it under 85, it usually pretty much just follows the damn rules, right? So I was applying it to my coding. Oh, do this. Oh, do that. Oh, this is where you find this, blah, blah, blah for my coding. But then I had an interesting use case where I was like, we have all these internal services, that are not well-known public domain things. It's like, oh, how do I onboard to internal service A? I'll say, well, what you do is you go to the docs page if you can find it, and you try to read what to do, and then you open like a form, and you got to put this stuff in it, I guess, and then you send it, and they'll like email you, and then you got to talk to this guy about how to get the thing, and then you put that in your code like this, and then it should work. And so I was like, hey, agent, here's the home page of the explanation, and here's an example where I did it before. Boil that down into an agent skill. And so now you can say /name of service onboarding, maybe prefixed with a W, because that's, where I work, and you don't want it to be, it's nice to have them batched, because it's alphabetical. You can be like, hey, /whatever, what the hell is this and how do I onboard? It'll be like, oh, you go here and you type this information and I look through your repo and here are some details that are probably the answer, and here you go. And when you're done, I'll put the code in. How's that landing so far? And I do intend for this to be a little interactive, and I'll just clip you out if I find the gold elsewise.
Good to know. Yeah, no, that sounds beautiful. And you're describing a lot of kind of like my recent learnings and experience in a good way, which is just like, I'm kind of seeing things get stuffed into memory every time I say like, don't do that, or do this differently when you do it. And then after like a session, I kind of close out. I made it part of my like wrap up skill to like grab the things that are important from the session and help me reorganize and make sure that stuff in memory gets turned into skills if it's stuff that we're repeating. And then you're like daisy chaining together kind of skill repositories, basically, is what it's starting to feel like. Is I'm like you said, I use like an onboarding example. It's like you go to onboard, and then that opens you up to another chain of skill. Like, okay, boss, what do you want to do as part of this onboarding journey? And you sort of have like it's like you can create a wizard almost experience kind of thing. It's just very interesting. And I'm sure you're getting a lot of mileage out of the flexibility
so
right
now. Let's talk mileage, because that was just the intro.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I'm really doing.
Mm-hmm.
I at my large enterprise, and so your organization may not suffer from this or benefit depending on your position in the org. We have a fairly robust, I'll call it, AI governance process where you got to go to this group, and then they will up or down you to go to this group, and they'll up or down you to, go ahead and do it, or like they'll find someone to do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
That felt generic enough to say in public.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did was I pointed because I was about to go to this thing, right? I've got a big plan that I want to do,
mm-hmm.
all right? And they're like, oh, you got to go through the process. And I'm like, that's fair. Okay, I'm always up for process. I love process, right. And I mean that. And I mean that.
I do know you mean that.
I do, right. Okay. Well, so I was like, "Hey agent, here is the entry point in our like SharePoint or Microsoft whatever. They have like a website, but it's also a bunch of docs and it's got like spreadsheets and like PowerPoints and, PDFs. And I'm like, "Okay, crawl this, grab everything, extract the literal text and then boil it into a skill. Boil all of it all the way down into a skill.
The
Now
whole
run
process?
a boil the entire process into a skill."
Jeez.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be
And
like a
then, of course,
huge skill though?
it's maybe 500 lines.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad. And so there's another one that's gigantic that I can't even talk to you about.
Okay. But
I did
skills
the
can
same thing
invoke
for
other
this.
skills, right?
Skills can invoke other skills, and you can have the skill be a router where its
Yeah.
subfolders contain additional modular instruction. Like I've got a we for our version control system that I won't name if I haven't already on the pod. I'm like, here's that skill for that, and there's like issue management, and then like merge request management, and then like CI/CD stuff. So like you don't need to know about CI/CD when you're talking to issues. So like you can break stuff down like that where it'll only read what it needs to read.
Mm-hmm.
But so I boil this entire process down, the whole damn thing, and now I can say, well, hello there, agent. From the repository of the work I'm hoping to get through this process. Hello, make a read this skill, read the inputs they're expecting me to show up with, and prepare the input for me. And it just does.
No way.
And they were like, "This is one of the most prepared things I've ever seen for this."
That's incredible.
Because I had every single answer in the order they would ask it. I was just like, these are all the answers. And they're like, "How much will it cost?" I'm like, "That's right here."
Tell me a little bit about because I feel like for me the big challenge is the visualizations. Like you're talking,
Sure.
they're making like slides or making graphics for slides, like those kind of things. When it comes to presenting, for me, it's easy to like get especially now with these tools, it's really easy to get outline, timeline, organize your thoughts. You can just dump your raw thoughts and organize them. It's really easy to like make a presentation text wise, but then like, what about your actual visual kind of part of your presentation? How's it doing with that? Or is that a big lift for you?
So there's two questions, or there's two directions to take this. One I'll start with, and then this will be the right order. One, when I did my skills presentation, I did the whole thing in Excalidraw. I just Excalidrew it up, and then I just scrolled through, and I was like, now we're talking about this one.
Personally?
I drew the boxes. I did the boxes myself.
Fine.
I didn't but I didn't use a PowerPoint slide.
Okay.
I just have a canvas.
Yeah, well, those are fun. You see
and
you see those videos where someone will walk you around a canvas.
That's where I got the idea.
I like it. It's fun. Yeah. Okay. But you did the drawing. Did you use like a drawing pad or something like that?
I just did the
mouse
boxes.
clickied. Okay.
Mouse click, enter name, mouse click, enter name. Very caveman, but I'm working on it. Okay. I think there's a way for it to talk to it.
But there's an Excalidraw. There's an Excalidraw connector. I know, at least in Claude. And
I didn't know that. So
I don't know how well it can
I will have to try that.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll try.
Probably make a few boxes.
I'll give it a test run and tell you what I can do.
Okay. Well, so that would be interesting. And then for this other one though, and for any presentation where I'm doing something technical, where it's like my project work, I don't use decks anymore. I straight up don't use decks. I just make markdown files and mermaid charts, and they're fine, and it doesn't matter that they're not flashy because I get the thumbs up, and then they tell me that I fulfilled my work duties.
And you share these via like screen share, or do you send them to people for them to look at on their own screens?
I link them when I'm about to screen share in the version control system, which renders Markdown beautifully.
Okay.
And then I screen share it and zoom it in a little bit, and it looks great.
So you could in the version control system. So like if I'm using GitHub, I don't know if everybody has access to GitHub. Do they? I don't think everybody has access to GitHub.
There's no way that not everyone in your company has access to GitHub, right? That's wild. I don't know.
Is it? Yeah.
But if you're talking, so hold on. If you're talking to leadership or executive leadership, yeah, you got to stuff that into a doc.
Yeah.
You got to stuff. You copy the markdown, you paste it into a Google Doc. It'll render beautifully.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Fair enough.
But you don't manage the doc. The doc is just a rendering of the work you're actually doing.
Right.
So I don't know. And then you can also just present and not share the document. I don't know. They should be in the damn GitHub. but
Yeah.
leadership does
Honestly,
not go
like
in version control.
deliverables on the knowledge work side of these tools right now are a challenge, like for me right now. I'm still figuring out kind of like the what we're capable of and what is the right thing to do in certain situations. So it's an
You might
interesting space for
enjoy.
me.
Here, look at this. You might enjoy. What the hell? Script. This thing supports scripts. That's weird. You might enjoy sly.dev, actually. It's a markdown driven slide decks.
That sounds fun. Yeah, I had someone else at my company use a different tool that was also pretty interesting. And at the time, it was like over my head, but I think now I'd find it more interesting. There's certainly no way I'm like going into like Google Slides and making a slide deck from scratch ever, ever, ever again. Like I'm never doing it again.
No. Make Gemini
I've had
do
other,
it.
yeah, I've used other AI solutions and they're way too powerful to ever make a deck from scratch again. Even like free tiers and examples and stuff. But anyway, carry on. We could go on a million.
So and then I'll present it to my boss and we'll have a discussion and I'll take notes about what he said and I'll be like, here's what he said about the thing that you did, and it'll be perfect, and he'll be like, this is great. And then I point that at the review board and they're like, this is great. And then I take their feedback, put it in there for the next stage, and then it's great. And they're like, oh, by the way, make sure you have these questions prepared. I'm like, great, agent, prepare the questions for me. And it just does. And like you have to check it, right? You have to look through and be like, no,
Of course.
you
Yeah,
overdid
this was
it on
dumb.
that one.
Yep.
This was dumb. And then you can just rattle off, here's the corrections, and then it's just fixed.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Are you taking screenshots or are you just saying things? Or you're like, slide 6 is weird, or I don't like this part of the diagram. Copy paste.
I open my log and I'm like, here's some feedback, and I'll just be like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is right, but it's a little too far. This is wrong, this is right, this is wrong. Or sometimes I'll just dictate like I'll be like just reading. I'll be like, blah, blah, blah. No, it should be this. Blah, 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 it should be this, and it just figures it out.
Right. Yeah. I've liked that. I've been trying to lean more into dictation because it's not completely like natural for me yet to do so. But man, getting to just kind of sit down, because I feel weird because I go to talk and I'm like, oh, I'm not like ready I'm not ready to formulate the proper sentence yet. But it's like, you don't need to be. You sit there, whatever your way through whatever you're gonna need to say. And like you said, it just figures it out. Like you don't have to worry about it.
It figures it out. And sometimes I'll be like, wait, hold on, no, that's wrong. It's this, and well, you saw what I'm saying. Look over here for that. That's probably over there, and then
that's so good. Yeah.
Right. And so that's you can get to the dictation.
And it might even actually help. It might even be useful context for it to know where there's tension, like where it's difficult for you, because I see it reflect back to me all the time. It's like, oh yeah, that's a point of tension here, the key point of tension. And like, I think it might be easier for it to pick up on those things when you have that natural language capture. So really cool.
Yeah. But to wrap up on the idea that I was hoping to kind of present, just you can boil down governance into agent skills, not even to the end of code, but to the end of compliant event inputs. That'll take it right out of your repository if you've been taking good notes all along. So that's what I wanted to present, and that's the kind of thing and the kind of way in which I do present. How did that land with you, both in content and in form?
I mean, that landed incredibly, and I think that it's really tightly related with what I've been trying to work on as well in the project that I was sharing with you. And I think it is like a story worthy point too from that book. Like you got to start the capture like today. Like it's kind of like the, like the best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago. And like the second best time is today. It's like that with your content capture. And I think that that's been the spirit of a lot of the underlying meta of our pod for me all along, was like, and I think we agreed on this. It was like, you just start capturing all the stuff and we'll figure out how to mine the gold. That's been like the whole, metaphor we've used all along, but you got to start like capturing. And now we've been doing this for years. And now it's really starting to get kind of crazy with like what we can do with all of that. It's like we're starting to see the payoff now. And it's really like, it's exhilarating, I think.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly. So now, to mini fourth wall, I can clip, after you interrupted me until, right before I started explaining what I'm going to do here. Mm-hmm. And that's a clip. And in fact,
you can clip out any of the questioning sections.
Hold on, I'm talking to the AI producer. Producer, make sure that you clip out the thing where Joe explains to Mike, but then clip out any meandering, all right, for one of our magic segments. Thank you. Okay, back to you, Mike.
Yeah, this is
That'll
so
probably
fun.
work. I've thought about
This is
prompt
so fun. I
engineering the
bet it
AI
will work.
producer.
I bet it will work. We should. We should. Absolutely. It's like,
They probably don't sanitize transcripts.
man, I had a similar, remember how I apologized to you recently for what I did to you on Littlefoot, making you try to just hammer Git into the interface?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was thinking similar about our whole indexing project that we threw a couple weeks at. And by we, I mean like you threw a couple weeks at, because it's like all the map reducing and stuff, all the ways to try to like find ways to squeeze it in. It was like, I feel like all we had to do is wait for the tools to catch up on that, and we can do way cooler stuff anyway. So now, though, I'm starting to feel like, holy shit, we can do like incredible things for not like that much. I'm on a $20 a month plan, and it's honestly a blessing to me, because I feel like I don't have the self-control yet to unplug when I need to. And so I run out of tokens, and I'm like, damn it. And I get up and I go like, live human life. But it's really incredible what I'm able to, and it also is helping me understand. I'm starting to already get like a muscle memory for what is a 5-hour limit that I'm on right now. And I can get a feel. I'm like, oh, I know I've got to be getting close. I'll look, I'm like, I'm at 80%. I knew it. I was getting a little deep here, but look at all I've accomplished in this. And it's a 5-hour limit. You exhaust it in an hour and a half, and you accomplish some incredible things. It's been fun.
So or no, actually, I'm looking at the notes here. There's more if I can continue.
Yeah. Go.
On my side, actually, because I was gonna pivot into it. And so what have you been doing? No, we can talk about that next week. We can do you next week. All right.
Sure.
And then, okay, after you get through the thing, I realize that the AI.engineer World's Fair conference is like 2 weeks from now. I realized this last week. And I was like, hey, boss, I want to go to this. You're making me go to conferences. I want to go to this one. All right. And he's like, sold. Get in there. And so, I got all arrangement. I got the ticket, blah, blah, blah. And then now you got to pick which of the 1,000 things happening all at once you want to go to. Okay. Which one of they've got like 12 tracks at the same time. Which one do you go to for each slot? Right. And so I started scrolling through it like a caveman. I was like, this one, what is the description? Okay. And then I see at the bottom, they have the sessions.json exposed on purpose. They're like, hey, we have open data. Here's the sessions.json. I was like, okay, hold on. Okay, agent, here's what we're going to do. Here's the sessions.json, right-click, copy, link, paste. Pull this sucker down. Ignore it because I don't actually want it in the repository, but pull it down into the repo and read in our high-level design challenges I've been describing about what I want to do with this thing and the open questions you and I have discussed, agent, right? We've nailed execution, but we need observability and like valuability and like the observability for like the harness level activity, whatever, right? And so it's like, oh, well, here's maybe your coverage. You're looking pretty good here, but yeah, you were talking, you need this. And I was like, great, read that back in, new thread, pull down the sessions JSON, plan my week out, and then tell me what to ask the people that are presenting.
Wow. So like what to learn. So you can actually cater your experience to your current challenges and ambition.
And it wound up being like, you go here and then here and then here and then 3 stars. This is the title of this session is the work that you're doing. Go to that one. Star, this is the guy you mentioned. Go to that one. Blah, 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 blah. All right. So the lesson there, okay, is about this compounding, like context fulfillment where the gap exposed from what you need, be it a governance event input or getting the most out of a conference, or like the fact that I have outstanding questions that I've been able to enumerate in a markdown based on discussions I've had about what do we have now? Here are some of my ideas. And it's like, well, then here's where you are then, bud. You can just reconcile them into here's what needs to happen for the most part. And you got to run a couple, run an adversarial sub-agent check to make sure you're not being stupid or whatever. And it, usually takes a couple of those and it's usually good.
Yeah. And I think that this also backs up my understanding of kind of the strengths of synthesizing the context that you're able to provide. If it's good context, you can get really good outputs versus asking for just like generative, I have to give a presentation, think of a good presentation to give. Like you're not going to get something that's really relevant to you and that's going to work. And so I've seen a lot of shade, thrown at the tools for, well, it's really dumb. It doesn't do this well. And it's like, well, I mean, what context are you giving it? You're kind of like a bad manager if you're just given orders without context anyway. So you got to like be a good manager to the tool and it'll provide a lot better outputs for you. And yeah, I mean, context engineering now is to me almost like a greater skill than prompt engineering. Like you can be kind of a stupid prompter if you give it the right context as a part of your prompt. You'd be like, herder, I'm trying to do good presentation. And but you give it like the like spreadsheet that has the data in it that it needs, and a couple like maybe Slack threads that have some context around like, hey, can you give a presentation on this because we want people to, you just give it the inputs and it'll do a pretty crazy job, pretty crazy good job. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the way that I prompt is ridiculous. Like anyone that watches me prompt, they're like, "Is this how you talk to the agent? Why do you talk to it like that?" Because I'll be like, "All right, so this is here and this is there and this needs to be here and it should say this when you're done and you can check it with this command and you'll see what I'm saying. Enter." I literally say a lot. You'll see what I'm saying because I feel in my bones. I don't have numbers. I should have numbers, but I feel in my bones things like telling it to address not just the letter but the spirit of what you're doing, and to tell it you'll see what I mean, prevent it from over-indexing on your specific word choice.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Right. It's almost like it's like what we were talking about earlier, where all the extra sort of just that you say when you're speaking naturally is it's actually valuable context clues. It's just like almost like body language or something like that. It's like you, at least not yet, can't really give it much body language, but you can give it this sort of verbal, natural language context that to me acts almost like body language in that there are context clues and behavioral clues that can really help steer toward your true the like you said, the spirit of what you're after. It's like it gives it some exposure. Yeah, more exposure to the spirit of what you're doing.
Exactly. And it's funny, like I'll say things too, like I'll be like, do this or whatever, because I don't want to be like I swear to God.
Don't obsess over getting it just right in this way that I put it. Yeah.
Like I know I told you to cue it or whatever, but I don't care how you achieve the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So I put the or whatever. I'm actually really careful, and I think it's actually pretty specifically nuanced. I'll say or whatever, spirit not the letter. You'll see what I mean when you get in there.
That's so good.
These matter because it unlocks some of the over-indexing that you'll get otherwise from especially the GPT models, because they will take whatever you say so literally, and so you have to literally say or whatever. You'll see what I mean when you get in there.
Yeah, right. And so when you say over-indexing, I assume that what you're saying is like you get it to be too narrowly focused on the exact phrasing of what you said. And I see what you're saying. It's like you want to give it, if you want it to if you want to utilize the thinking power, you have to tell it where it has room to think. And if you just say like, oh, go do this specific task this specific way, it's going to work really hard to do it that way. And that's when you start seeing it like, oh, well, I can't figure it out. I've tried 10 different things. No worries. I'll open it up in your browser. Yesterday, I had Claude ask me if it could have access to my computer files. And I almost clicked like yes, because I was like, yeah, fuck it, like whatever. And then, but like the warnings were all like, this could do like crazy shit. Just FYI, like it can. Like I just like go, it was kind of like a don't run this on anything personal, run it on like your mini Mac or whatever. And if you want to do crazy shit, it was kind of warning me all that. And I ultimately said no, but then I also realized I'm like, hold on. Why do you need this? Like you should just be able, it was because I was trying to get thumbnails, and ultimately it ended up being something completely different that it needed, but I had to give it the leeway to do it a different way. I was like, okay, I told you to do this and I see that you're about to make it happen, but like, there's gotta be a better way. And it's like, well, it'd be way better if we did this. And I'm like, well, let's do that then. Let's do that. And you need to give it the room to say like, oh, I see what you mean. I see what you're trying to do. How about we go this route? It's going to be the best way. And you're like, nice. Good job.
Yeah, and you can be like, what you're doing, and like you could or whatever.
Yeah, I say I trust you. I say I trust you. You got this. I trust
you. You can say feel me ? Right at the end of a very clear instruction. Feel me ? And it's like, okay, I feel you. I see you behind the words, and I'm gonna make it happen.
Right.
Thank you, Claude. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my hope and dream for the pod today. Actually, was to do that bit of, and I'm kind of presenting.
Did it work?
Though I think the collaboration was smooth. I liked it, and I'm actually looking forward to clipping, or again AI producer, again you'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean, or whatever. Feel me on how to clip the thing. You make the good clips for it.
Right. My one concern was just that I didn't realize until you started talking that I wasn't exactly sure how much engagement you wanted to have from the other person. Like it easily could have been a thing where like you could take what you said and like you said, you could cut the pieces of me out if you
Could
wanted
clip
to
it
do
anyway,
this
yeah.
anyway. And you do it anyway. But like at first I was kind of like, well, I'll just sit here quietly. And then he can overlay a visual if he wants to. And it's just him giving a presentation and I'm just over here. Yeah, I don't even have to be part of the recording is what I'm saying. He like nobody has to know in the clip that I was ever even here. And I was like, and I was thinking about certain presentations and learning presentations I've watched on YouTube recently. I'm like, well, they didn't necessarily have anybody chirping at them while they were trying to give their presentation. So I don't want to be that. But then, you obviously picked up on the fact that I had muted myself and stopped talking completely. And you're like, also, it'd be not terrible if you said some stuff too. But then I feel I went from 0 up to about 5 up to, and by the end of the conversation, it felt like we were practically 50-50 again on our mic time. And so I don't know if that was preferable either. I don't know what the balance is what I'm saying.
That's how the calls at work go, actually. It's you start off with telling them what's up, and then at the end
And
you
someone's
say,
like,
hey,
whoa,
did
hold on, I
anybody,
have a question, because there's
yeah,
interruptions
everybody good?
along the way. Right. Okay.
Everybody good? Question, idea, is this
Uh-huh.
landing, right?
Uh-huh.
And then we'll maybe have a little sidebar, but it's still me trying to get a mental model out there, and then it does ramp up at the end to basically a Q&A, right? Which is
Right.
kind of what happens. I thought that was smooth, and I expect to do the same kind of thing when we give you a turn, because I do want to get your content next time.
There are as well, I think, along the way, some disambiguations that are made by like asking a question or two. And it's like you
Yeah.
can always elect later to keep or not keep the disambiguation or whatever. So it's like, well, Michael's an idiot and he doesn't know something that the rest of the audience of this clip will already know. So we'll cut that one out. Or shit, that was an astute question and I didn't think about, having to make that clarification. And so and then you keep it in. So I could see how it could be useful.
I'm going to probably clip both and see which one I like better, and I might even just experiment with it, be like, oh, does this one perform better, or does this one perform better, because you can do two versions, I think, of a video and of a clip. I don't know if it's with this new of an account. Maybe that's just thumbnails. I don't know if the different videos can be clipped in a way where they compete A/B. But yeah, so I thought that was interesting. And when we have something we're excited to share in that regard, I think it would be interesting to keep it as kind of a presentation, engagement ramp up. Like I want to hear that thing you were working on. You get into it and then maybe take a natural break. I'll have a question. That could be fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool, dude. Nice app. Look at that. Time flies.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Slack, man, you are all up in the Claude context moving around. You probably are full blown feeling like a wizard by now, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I connected like everything, and now I need to go connect Excalidraw so that I can test that. But I'm not that afraid of like giving it access to my stuff. I guess there's maybe some risks that I'm creating for myself, but for the most part, it's all been upside. It's felt like upside. And now like now I'm starting to feel like I think I'm just behind kind of where maybe you and Josh, for example, have been, as far as like seeing implications like on just working, like working style, working tasks that you're doing, like how you're spending your time. Like the way that I'm spending my time has started to dramatically shift over just the last like 4 to 5 weeks. And it both in work and outside of work on projects and stuff, and not just like our traditional software oriented projects, but also the stuff that I'm not using like software for necessarily, or that I'm using software to augment, but it's like software is not the point of those things. And it's starting to really make an impact in a way that I honestly, like, maybe I sort of hoped for the types of impact, but I had no idea at the time how that impact was going to be made and how involved I would be in it and how it could possibly work out. But now it's starting to feel more like a native utility to have these tools and to be able to use them, and the flexibility of them and what they're able to do is like a heavy implication. It's like, oh my God, the thing now I'm starting to feel, I remember you saying stuff like, I can't do any, like, I don't know. There's so much to be done now. Like there's so much more to be done now. It used to be easy to say like, oh, well, I'd never have the time to do that. But a lot of those tasks just became, super easy. and drawing, like, I think like pulling from different repositories of context and thinking about different like signals as well, and how to kind of orchestrate just stuff that we have to, that we can think like, oh, I have to do this all the time, but we can like not have to do it anymore, and it frees us up to do other stuff, which is really crazy.
Have you seen Avatar: The Last Airbender? Have we talked about this yet?
I haven't. Should it be required viewing? Should I go?
Well, it's highly acclaimed, but you'll at least understand the concept of water bending, where they have this control over water and they can like,
yeah,
right. You've seen some of that.
It's similar in Name of the Wind type stuff. Yeah.
Well, my presentation on agentic engineering, one of my appeals was, this is context bending. I am pulling context out of the repository, splitting it into its like function and guidance, pushing them into Markdown, taking the outstanding issues, applying them to the gap analysis, having it investigate what the failure is, come up with the gap, apply it back to the thing that's in control of it, because you can't modify this, you got to modify that, push it up, apply, like you're feeling that, right? Where you're starting to pull things and then push things and then split things and then separate things centrifugally, even possibly, right? Yeah. Is that landing? Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you look like a Marvel hero, just the way that you're moving your hands around, because that's exactly what it seems like as you describe it. That's crazy.
I had my mid-year review. And I was just like, go do my mid-year review. And it like ripped all the context out, and I put my goals in there, and I've had my goals to epics to issues, and it just was like, here's how you're doing.
That's nice.
And then I actually just boiled down our career ladder into a skill, and so I'm going to have it come up with a way to give me a promotion.
Brilliant. I was worried about asking it to review me based on what, like my, I guess like my project stuff in Notion and whatever stuff I've talked about in Slack. Like, sounded kind of, I was like, I don't know if I can handle what it's going to tell me about myself. I don't know if I can face like
just throw be nice at the end.
Okay, yeah, like be kind about it. Right, be nice about it.
Be kind about it and get me a promotion. Enter.
Yeah, let me down easy, get me a promotion. Right. Okay, I like it.
Make a separate file about where I could be better.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then when you're really ready for it, you drink a couple of beers and then hit roast me, and then just
yeah, that's like that's honestly terrifying, right? Because I feel like it's gonna have like all your DMs and
yes, it's gonna have everything.
Yeah, that's crazy, because you're a different. Well, maybe you're not, but I feel like I have like different.
I try to be
vibes,
the same person everywhere.
I try to be the same person, but I feel like sometimes I behave like a fucking teenager, and it's like, well, yeah, with my like friends, with the people I'm like close with, I can be more like, I don't know, less buttoned up or whatever. And I don't know how it would evaluate that, or maybe it would price that in, maybe it'd be like, well, yeah, people act, differently with different people.
Well, and I mean, your coalition building, there's trust building. I mean, that's a thing. Let's wrap up soon.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. I was just going to say, like, it'd be interesting if it was like, well, this wasn't a good, management tactic. And I'm like, yeah, what, who that is? Like who this, but maybe it would just realize like,
tell us, go look up who it is.
These two talk. Right. These two talk in a certain way, and it would just pick up.
Yeah. Look up who owns what calendar event to see what I'm talking about. Okay. Think who am I talking to?
Yeah. I just don't know how ready I am to have like a digital conscience. It's like a weird implication.
I like it. I like it because
I like the
upside. My job.
Yeah. I like the upside. I don't know about
if you're not ready to be told how it is. Yeah. Don't ask.
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying. That's a good ending.